And I do believe that we are off now, guys. It is... It's 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles. It's Friday, the 14th of June, AD 2024. I'm not seeing it, but hopefully it's going. Yes. And we're having a fun show, I think, right? I think so. My IG is not going, but that's all right. We're going to have a fun loosey-goosey Friday show, guys. Let me get myself squared away, straight. What will we cover? They're going crazy over our greatest president, Trump. CNN has been driven mad. More openly anti-Trump and crazy than perhaps usual. It's sort of interesting to see. I will show you a headline to illustrate my my example of them going crazy, psycho. I will get to your calls. You can call in 1-888-775-3773, and your super chats. You can buy me a super chat or a coffee, quote unquote, which is just a super chat, okay? buymeacoffee.com/the Hake Report. It's a donation message, those who don't know what a super chat is. You know, the boomers. And one of them, at least one I see, has already come in. And there's some chats from last week that I would like to address. So we'll just have like a fun, loosey-goosey, the Hake Report show. I hope you stay and enjoy it. I know I will. Okay? Well, anyway, I don't know anything. But anyway, guys, hey, it's the AJ Gallardo original theme song. So let's just get right on with the show.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the AJ Gallardo original theme song and this beautiful scenery if you're watching the video feed. San Onofre, California. Beautiful, foggy, cloudy, misty, marine layer hazy morning.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine, and I am wearing my my brand new handy dandy Caitlin Clark t-shirt. Are these communist colors? Well, this is navy blue, actually. I don't know if you can tell. I can tell. And this is Caitlin Clark, the one true star, the first star of the WNBA, breakthrough star. Actually has normal male fans, if you could call Hake normal. Nice. Shout out to Caitlin Clark. We're pulling for you. Nah. But she's white, privileged. She's pretty privileged, and she's tall privileged. Have a nice night, Lisa. Have a nice time. Right on. Don't dox your time zone. Nah. Yeah, so it's nice. It's WNBA. Hake is into Hake is pretty normal, actually, says Jake. Thank you, Jake. Oh, Karl Marx would approve of those colors. Yeah, it's a WNBA shirt. Because she's racist. No, she's not racist. There's no evidence at this point that she's racist. But I still like her anyway. Anyway, this goes out to all the ladies, female basketball players and females who don't play basketball. See, Hake cherishes women. I do. Anyway, right on. Moving forward. Let me tell you about this great news. There was, I forgot to mention this in Hake News, and it's important. You know how a lot of you guys are like, Trump violated the Second Amendment with his bump stock ban. And there was something else that he might have done or supported that was also in violation of the Second Amendment. And nobody really cares, I don't think, about the bump stock ban, even though it is on principle wrong, right? But back in 2017, after the Las Vegas massacre at that country music concert, so-called country music, remember there was like this outdoor concert festival thing, country music or whatever, and this guy, allegedly it was one man from one of the beautiful casino hotels in Las Vegas, a higher story, rained down bullets or rounds or whatever those things are called on the people and killed a lot of people. Terrible. I'm blanking on his name, but it was a purportedly white man, Paddock, Paddock, who shot those innocent people, you know, and it was wrong, terrible. He was he had like an Asian girlfriend, by the way. He was like in his 50s or 60s, and it was a horrific incident. And you know, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, and the feds won't tell you the whole truth or whatever. We don't even know the motive, if there was a motive. Sometimes people are just angry, and anger is enough, really, to do great evil sometimes. It was, people have their conspiracy theories, but allegedly he used a bump stock because, you know, we the normal people, most of us are not allowed to have fully automatic weapons where you pull the trigger and it goes, and we can't do that. We the normal people can't have that. Hopefully I did not spit on this mic. I don't think I did. So we're not allowed to have awesome guns. Our Second Amendment's already violated because a whole lot of they want criminals roaming around, low-level criminals, and low-level criminals sometimes get guns and become high-level criminals and kill people. And then, so they use that in order to violate the rights of us law-abiding people who would never do anything evil with our Second Amendment, with our awesome full-auto weapons and tanks and things. And atomic bombs and stuff. Stupid. Terrible, huh? But anyway, so you need like a special license. So anyway, he had a bump stock. And a bump stock makes it like bounce against your trigger finger, I guess. And it goes... So you can fire more frequently. It's less accurately, but more frequently, I guess. So Trump banned him. And normal people don't care, but the Second Amendment heads, pro-Second Amendment heads, shout out to you guys, were outraged that he did it. And, well, good news. And Trump may have done this 5D chess, anybody? 4D chess? Or whatever D chess? The Supreme Court struck it down so you can have your bump stocks. You can't ban bump stocks. That's against the Second Amendment. Bump stocks turn a semi-automatic rifle. One shot, one reload. Because semi-automatic means it reloads for you. You don't have to reload it or cock it. It pre-cocks. Cocking a gun, you know, cocked, locked and cocked, whatever, I don't know. I don't know guns. Or at least I don't disclose whether I know guns. Don't try me. But it can fire hundreds of rounds in a minute, according to CNN. If that might be fake news, I don't know. Depends on how much you're allowed to have in your magazine, or you have in your magazine, whether you're allowed to or not. What a mess. But so you guys were crying over nothing. Well, for 4 years or 5 years or 7 years, 2017 till today, you couldn't have your bump stocks. So for 7 years, you had to go without a Second Amendment. Now you have your Second Amendment back. Just kidding, you still don't have a Second Amendment. It's only pretense. So that's the story. Nice, huh? So get excited. Now, this is the real interesting story, and then I will get to calls. It's not much of a story, but here's Commie Nonsense Network going crazy over Trump GOP submission. They don't care about him wanting to destroy democracy. They're not even pretending. This is the top headline from Commie Nonsense Network's website, which I check every weekday. I give them half of their ratings. Handshake from a bitter critic. And they show a photograph of Mitch McConnell, Rhino. And I don't know if that's the bitter critic. Shows GOP's submission to Trump. GOP being the grand old party, the Republican Party. Or is it the Republicant Party? And then they say, analysis, the pageant. Pageant meaning like a display, just phony show of adulation on Capitol Hill. Adulation for our greatest president was another reminder that there will be no price for Trump to pay. Trump has to pay the price, but they're not going to make him pay any price, these weak Republicans, for his attempt to destroy democracy and stay in power. So phony, huh? They're accusing Trump of trying to... First of all, they're using the word democracy. Evil. Democracy, we all know, is evil. Because that means mob rule is what democracy means. If you're going to be a word Nazi, the sense of... They're not necessarily using democracy as majority rules, but that's what they want, majority rules, because the majority of people are foolish. We've all known that. And so rather than whittling it down to the cream of the crop voting, hopefully the cream of the crop, and some will sift through, some will slip through the cracks and be non-cream of the crop people. There's some landowners who are not sensible, but per capita, landowners are more sensible than the non-landowners. Maybe? I'm a Trump supporter, not a Republican, says YESGUNNER94. Shout out, man. Yeah. Whoa, GOS85. I disavow that nickname for the Republican Party. But isn't that wild? That's an analysis? That's not an analysis. That's an op-ed. Opinion, editorial. Because you're editorializing, aren't you? You say, oh, Mitch McConnell buffering like a mug. You had me scared. You said the word buffering and you're scaring me. But I don't think we are buffering because I do remember Mitch McConnell has frozen up a couple of times. Yeah, he's a rhino. But he's a somewhat functional rhino. Some of these rhinos, they function under our greatest president. Liz Cheney called out Mitch McConnell. One of the headlines read, Liz Cheney called out Mitch McConnell after his Trump photo. Liz Cheney, daughter to Dick Cheney, the vice president, the rhino vice president. I'm calling him a rhino for two reasons. Rhino vice president under George W. Bush. Liz Cheney, probably worse than Dick Cheney, not sure. Dick Cheney, kind of anti-Trump and just a establishment guy. He's the one who shot somebody in the face, right? Or shot somebody somehow on a hunting trip while he was vice president. And I didn't hold that against him. You know, I had no problem with Dick Cheney when he was vice president. Some said that he was sort of a war hawk, or not sort of. Some people said he was a war hawk, I think. They said that George W. Bush was a war hawk. And those things may be true. I know that they were weak. I know that Dick Cheney turned pro so-called same-sex marriage, I think. Or he was for some special privilege rights, special treatment, quote-unquote, rights for the gays because one of his daughters, not Liz, but her sister, I guess, was a lesbian. Ned. GG Cash 22 says, shout out to Caitlin Clark 22. Yeah, that's right. 22 is my new favorite number besides 14, 14. And my favorite number 14 has nothing to do with the 14 words. It has to do with, I like the sound of 14. Because I learned Spanish as a little kid, a little bit. At least that number. His daughter was a so-called lesbian. Don't ask what that is, kids. You don't know and you don't want to know. It's dumb. I'll tell you when you're older. It's just confused people. People get perverted. So evil Liz Cheney being a lame-o rhino from Wyoming or something like that? Anyway, that's lame commie nonsense network with their favorite Republicans who are critical of our greatest president, Trump, and they don't have, most of their criticisms are not valid. I would say none of their criticisms are valid, but I haven't heard everything, so I'm just going to stick with most. Anyway, happy birthday to our greatest president, Trump. Happy Flag Day, and happy birthday to Josh B85 over in the chat. Nice. Trump derangement syndrome. Let me get to a call or two, guys. DeAngelo in Michigan is on the line. Hey, DeAngelo, have you called to the Hake before?
No, I haven't.
Oh, right on. First-time caller, DeAngelo in Michigan. What an honor. How you doing?
What's going on? This Hake?
Yep, this is Hake of the Hake Report. You're on the Hake Report.
Okay, man. I was just talking to Jesse Peterson.
Stay close to your phone. You sound a little bit far away.
Okay, you hear me now?
That sounds a lot better. Thank you.
I was just talking to Jesse Peterson. I called him Uncle Ruckus and everything, and you was there. But when I hung up, you said I was blind.
Yeah.
About why do you feel like I'm blind? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah. Because you want to hold on to the victimhood of the past, the victimhood of, the blacks in the past were discriminated against, allegedly, according to reports, the history stuff, with redlining and things like that. Now I'm live on IG, by the way. I'm live on IG, people. And JLP asks you, what's wrong with that? Why do they need to live with somebody else? Why do they need to be recognized as a man? They wore a sign called I am a man, and they got beat up and put the dogs sicked on them and stuff like that. And he's like, if you're a man, you don't need to be marching around saying I am a man. That's sort of effeminate stuff to be protesting.
You don't feel as in those days of time, early on in time, where like it was a lot of racial discrimination, a lot of Jim Crow, a lot of segregation, and at the end of the day, we didn't. I mean, when it's unfair, unbalanced for one, you just want to be recognized of being like, I'm your brother also. View me as your brother. View me as a man other than less than, and just trying to get the other side to realize that. How is that being a feminine trait when you don't have access to the Army or National Guard? Like the other side had all them type of access. We just wanted to have our place to let the other side know, like, hey, we're men too. We want the same things in life. We want our kids in a great education. We want a great home. We want a great standard of living also. It's not that we're not asking or begging for it. We just ask, like, by being Americans in America, and that's something that we all should have as Americans. So that's all we was asking for. It's not crying and begging, and I'm not holding on to the past. I'm not a Democrat. I do not like Joe Biden.
Right.
I like Trump. You know what I'm saying? I like what I don't appreciate nothing the Democrats done. So I don't use that. And then when I spoke of the white
I wasn't going to use that.
Well,
don't worry about that. I wasn't even thinking that. I wasn't going to accuse you of being a a lame anti-Trump guy. I'm just addressing the black thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like Jesse don't acknowledge all the atrocities we go through. I know that you were one of you work with him, so you probably agree with a lot of his philosophy, and nothing is wrong with that. But it's also, it's my people, it's my history also. Yes, we can overcome. America has came a long way. I feel like I'm a living testament. I feel like it's a lot of great black people. I feel like we contributed a lot to this country.
You don't think that the blacks were doing well back then?
Yeah, I feel like the blacks was doing well back.
Do you think the blacks have declined? Because you say we've come a long way. I think we've declined a long way.
I feel like but when you put in the place where we were and where we at now, the reason why we declined is not because of black people, frankly. Don't get me wrong. We have some input of letting stuff happen, like the war on drugs, putting crack in our community, and a whole bunch of other stuff that we have taken part of that was done to us. But it was not us. We did not put ourselves in ghettos. We did not sit there and was doing good at one point and just declines the next reason for nothing. I mean, if we was doing good, we would have stayed on that path. That's why when I talked to him last time, I brought up Tulsa, Oklahoma. Every time we did do good, it's always something that set us back that going with the government. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not here to whine or bicker, but I'm just here to be like, yo, we got a history and our history is valid. We're not whiners, we're not complaining, and the situation we're in don't have a lot to do with us. Yes, we have some things to do with it, but the majority of it is stuff that we can't handle because it's above us.
Have you ever seen fake news in action, present day fake news?
Fake mirror?
Fake news, news that's not telling the truth, such as against Trump, stuff that the media says about Trump. Has the media been honest about Trump or dishonest?
No, I don't feel like he's honest. I feel like they have and they haven't. I feel like they doing Trump wrong because I feel like they weaponizing the judicial system against Trump, like they did do African Americans, you know what I'm saying?
No, I know, but there's stuff that's written about Trump that's going to go down in history as, oh, Trump was impeached, Trump was convicted, he's a criminal, all these things. They're making it, they're putting up headlines, the media is putting up headlines that cast Trump as one of the most corrupt presidents we've ever had, when you and I both know that's not the case.
Aren't they all? I mean,
I know, but
both know. I feel like Trump corrupt. I feel like Joe Biden corrupt. I feel like Hillary Clinton corrupt. They all corrupt. I feel like
so you're supporting Trump even though he's corrupt?
I'm reporting the lesser of the evils. I feel like Trump is honest. I feel like Trump can look me in my face and tell me I don't like you, and pose up Joe Biden not liking me and try to sell me a dream. You know what I'm saying? Trump will tell me in my face. So
Trump is one of the more honest presidents that we've had, right?
That's why I like Trump.
Yeah, and yet the media accuses him of being one of the most lying presidents, if not the most lying president. They document all his quote unquote lies. So my point is, what the media says about Trump, casting him as a criminal, corrupt, liar, the worst, that's going to be history. That's going to be accepted history generations down the road. Yeah. And so in the same way, that history about Trump is false, so too there's a whole lot of history about black victimhood and what the blacks went through that's not telling the whole truth. They may cherry pick facts to make it seem like... Yeah, for example, the Tulsa riot. The Tulsa riot, they're trying to turn it into something... total victimhood for blacks with no blacks at fault at all, and then all whites total evil, and same thing with this redlining and all that stuff. They're not telling you the whole. They're not telling you the whole truth.
Tulsa started when a woman accused a man of raising her hand on an elevator, and they burnt the whole city down for that, bro. I mean, like that's what's not. Just like Emmett Till. Emmett Till got castrated, hung, and killed when a woman said he whistled at her.
No, did you know that it's more than that? She accused him of more than just whistling.
Okay, Emmett Till.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever he did, he might have said "baby," "I love you," whatever he could have said wasn't what happened to him.
I agree with that. I agree. We should not murder anybody for no matter what they did. I don't think that you should kidnap and murder somebody. Even if he grabbed her and threatened her and she had to go get her gun. which is what the story goes. She actually had to go get her gun, and then he left.
No, I mean, because she came out herself and told the whole story of what happened. She did not mention a gun or
Yeah,
nothing.
she did. Go look into it. I think it's probably even in the Wikipedia page. My point is, you don't even really know the whole story.
I do. I mean, I don't feel like you know the whole story. But
I don't either.
Like
Nobody knows the whole story, exactly.
Like Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Right.
It was a girl that said he brushed up against her hand on an elevator. They killed many people, burnt down their whole city, and everything.
Right,
Like,
and there were blacks and whites were fighting.
Blacks and whites. Come on, yo, we don't have guns. Why blacks always?
How do you know that blacks didn't have guns back then?
Let me ask you something.
Wait, how do you know that black? Wait. You said blacks didn't have guns back then?
No, I didn't mean like that. No,
okay.
Let me
don't be giving fake news. You've already given enough. You've already given enough one-sided history that you've been taught that you just swallowed.
I'm not swallowing. Let me
you
not
are.
say blacks didn't have guns.
All right.
They didn't have the magnitude of guns that can.
Do
anything.
Right.
To white civilization. Anything. Y'all get the
I'm glad that you acknowledge that the whites is civilization.
What?
That's what whites wanted to preserve, was their civilization. Because right now, look at what it is right now. You see all these smash and grabs and riots and street takeovers. Do you call that civilization? It's not civilized today.
Do you feel like that's like when y'all bring up Chicago, for instance, right?
Yeah.
That's a small population of black. That's not the black community. That's a small population of misdirected black kids that coming up. But that is not indicative of all black stand-up people. Most black people want the same thing other people want: a good life, a good education, a perfect place for their kids. It's not like that's just young.
I know that. That's why you support Trump, because you want a good education, you want safe places to live, and all that stuff. But my point is, blacks.
No, that's not really the reason why the reason why I like Trump. I mean, the reason why I'm supporting Trump, because I just want to do something different. The Democrats been showing us something for so long that they're having it. Like I said, Trump. I feel like Trump don't like black people. But hey, it is what it is. I don't feel like everybody not gonna like it.
Yeah, who cares?
His policies when it comes to me making money and I believe in capitalism. I believe in free market. I believe in smaller government instead of big government.
Nice.
I believe in all that stuff.
Right on.
So I mean, that's what I believe. But I also believe my family got my people got a history. And when I say stuff like Juneteenth, should it be celebrated or nothing? Yeah, I don't understand why anybody would take offense and be like, yes, black people have contributed to America substantially, and it should be celebrated. That's all I'm saying.
No, I mean, I like black people. They're entertaining. They're skilled at different things. Great athletes.
Like what? I mean, can you say entertainment and athletes?
Yeah.
What else you feel like black people contribute to America?
Like there's some individual blacks who are really great, like Clarence Thomas. He's like a solid man, and thanks in part to his grandpa, because he was brainwashed into black victimhood, similar to how you were, maybe even probably worse. And his grandpa called him an educated fool.
How are we educated to black victimhood by just acknowledging our history?
Because it's not history is. My point is, history is propaganda.
Was redlining true? Was redlining true that
I don't know.
Keep black people in the ghetto?
I'm sure there's some. I don't know. I'm sure there was something to it, but there's you're not giving the whole story.
Has laws been enforced for the detrimental state of black folk? Have that in history? Have laws been enforced? Do you feel like it has been laws enforced? But yeah, so at the end of the day, if you can acknowledge that, then you can acknowledge stuff that happened. Now, like I said,
but hold on. A lot of these laws have made it worse for whites and everybody. Did you know that a lot of blacks think that integration was wrong? They wish that we had left the segregation alone.
I mean, that's some blacks. It's a lot of blacks. Some people got their own opinions. A lot of people do.
And do you understand their point about it?
What's the point?
For example, like the bus boycotts, when they wanted to force integrate, let us be in the front of the white buses. There were black bus companies that went out of business because of this mess.
Well, I mean, do you feel like, so you would propose, if I walked on a bus,
Yeah.
I had to sit on the back of the bus, and white people got the privilege to sit in the front, or if there's no seat, the black person got to stand up and let the white person sit down? Do you feel like you oppose like that? You agree with that? Like, what is that?
I'm kind of indifferent, honestly. Like, whatever.
You like whatever because you're not the person that's experienced it.
No, I've experienced all kinds of stuff. I'm a very nice white. I've been trained to be very nice. I give up my seat for a lot of people. I let them in front. I'm just one of those.
You haven't experienced nothing, bro.
No, neither have you.
I have experienced.
What have you experienced?
Stuff on the day-to-day. Me, I experienced where my people are born, raised, where I live at. So what's my high school compared to the next high school? What's how I'm treated with on the law enforcement than other law enforcement? My everyday living, when it had me wondering since a kid, why is my hospital is like this and their hospital is like that?
You know why?
You can see the differences. I mean, you can.
You know why? Do you know why that stuff is? Because blacks don't make enough money. They're poor.
Blacks don't make enough money.
Yeah.
We're poor.
Yeah. Well, poorer.
Bro,
That's kind of your parents and your surrounding community's fault. Make more money.
But listen, that's what all I'm saying is. But it was okay. Like I said, when y'all got the subsidy, so your grandmas could buy their houses to pass it on with everybody, pass it on to their people. When your parents can go and don't have to worry about redlining and can go and get to the nice things and everything. We got to worry about we got to get the crumbs. So you telling me we get the crumbs and say, hey, make the best of it, but y'all can get the whole plate. But we don't get the crumbs, but we got to make what's best of it. We don't make what's best with the crumbs, or you're complaining and you're victim. But we over there, we got a whole steak over here we're eating, and we're good over here.
Because the whites made that for themselves and their children.
Who?
The whites made that for themselves and their children, and the blacks have gone into decline because. And honestly, a whole lot of people were poor back in the day, and they had to be responsible. A whole lot of blacks are irresponsible in how they spend their money. They spend it on entertainment, cable TV. I remember being a kid. The ghettos. For me, the ghettos were the Hispanics. The Hispanics all had cable TV, dish TV. And my family, we didn't even have any cable or dish. We just had the network TV, and we couldn't even turn on the TV. The white culture was more superior at establishing like a good life for ourselves first, putting that first, rather than entertainment and spoiling ourselves with stuff.
That was superior at the $1 trillion of subsidies y'all had to start up everything you needed.
You don't know what you're talking about. I'm talking about practices. I'm talking about life practices and life habits were superior.
Like practices. Y'all had, like I said, y'all got fronted trillions of dollars to front y'all community.
You don't even know what you're talking about. You're just saying stuff there were some. You're just making excuses for your bad behavior.
That's why I said a Homestead Act. That's why I could bring up the GI Bill. That's why I could bring up the subsidy. That's why I could bring up when the Great Depression happened.
Address this. Address this, DeANGELO. Address this. Yeah. The blacks and the Hispanics who are poorer, they get the cable TV, the Jordan shoes. They have the fancy cars. They spend their money on dumb stuff that's not valuable, rather than saving their money so they can have money later. Address that.
Have you seen the world, America?
No, address that.
Spending their money on big ass.
Hey, keep it clean. DeANGELO.
I'm sorry for ass.
Address the fact that poorer people don't spend their money wisely when they're poor. Address that.
All right.
Is that true or false? Is that a fair point?
It's a fair kind of skew, but I can see how you can portray that. Yeah, I can see that.
All right, let me. I I have a caller who wants to talk to you very briefly. I want to keep it brief, but a caller wants to talk to you. Do you want to talk to? Are you familiar with Mark in Los Angeles?
No, I'm not.
Okay, well, he's white, and he knows a lot of history. So, Mark in Los Angeles, you're live with DeAngelo from Michigan, and we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, am I on?
Yeah.
Yeah, hello, DeAngelo. I got a question.
How you doing, bro?
Good. I got a question for you. Why do Negroes go where they're not wanted?
Why do Negroes go where they're not wanted? I mean,
Yeah,
we're
when
not
they go
wanted
to-
in this
when they
whole country.
integrate
Where
in
do we
school-
go?
No. When you integrate a school or when you integrate a neighborhood and you're not wanted, why do you insist on going there?
It's a good question.
The reason why we insist on going there because it's better opportunities there. If you
So you
want
want
to go
to
where
take
the better
advantage of the white man's civilization and destroy it. Look what you guys did to every major city in the 1960s. There was riots. Those same cities are now black-dominated with black politicians, and they're not fit to go to. Even yesterday when President Trump met with other Republicans, he called Milwaukee, well, I'm not going to repeat what he called it, but the asshole city.
Wow.
And it is. And Milwaukee used to be a proud city. Cleveland, Ohio used to be a proud city. Every city that I named had riots in the 60s. After that, there was a white exodus out of these cities, and now who controls them? And how is the situation in those cities, which were once white dominated?
Tell me this. For a person to say why if that black people destroy everything, why is it that at the end of the day, why is the black people getting hung, castrated, beat, just for simple rights that they just want better opportunities just like you?
DeAngelo.
They rioted
Okay.
because Martin Luther King got shot in his head. Y'all said he got taken out. Malcolm X taken out. Medgar Evers taken out. Everybody that
Malcolm X was taken out by blacks, DeAngelo. That's not a fair point.
Infiltrated by the CIA. I mean, don't get me wrong. Black people was used for white people all the time. Black people being used. That's why they have the word Uncle Tom and Coon.
You're crying like a victim. You just want to keep on blaming whites.
I just said I'm not blaming whites.
Address his point though, DeAngelo. Address his point that regardless of what happened in the past, present day, and ever since the 60s, blacks have turned these cities into ghettos.
Blacks have turned these cities into ghettos because listen. What happens is all the jobs leave. All the jobs leave. There are no jobs. There's nothing for black people to accomplish. To get accomplished.
Right.
And at the end of the day, when that happens, it falls in despair. It falls into ghettos. I just don't understand how you guys making it seem like no hands is in the pot at all.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say. Okay, I'm DeAngelo.
Yes, sir.
I can agree partly, a little bit, that the government is evil. The government did, all these things, shipping jobs overseas, and that messed up the job opportunities for all Americans, including blacks. And they've allowed the illegal aliens in and put the blacks on welfare, so the blacks are not working, and now the illegals are working. And I get that. Hold on, man. Hold on, DeAngelo. You're just popping off at the mouth and bringing up irrelevant stuff.
You just said welfare for black. You said that.
I know, but you're making up excuses. Whites do it too, which has nothing to do with anything.
Can I say something?
One more quick point that I wanted to make. Jobs leave the area when there's high crime, and blacks bring high crime. That makes ghettos. DeAngelo.
Right.
But like your man Jesse Lee Peter said, in the 60s when black people had morality. No crime. It was no crime. We was pulling ourselves up by the bootstraps.
There was crime back then too.
Okay.
And they were not all pulling themselves up by their bootstraps.
It was mostly us getting killed. That was the crime. In the 60s. There was mostly black people getting crime committed towards us.
No,
White
there's
people
not.
had
That's
never
a lie.
White
Most of the
people had
crime was
never
not
been in-
against blacks. That's by whites.
In the 60s?
Yes, in the 60s, black on white crime was higher. I would venture to guess black on white crime has always been higher than white on black.
White people had never had nobody. White people had never feared blacks as somebody got gonna kill them and do anything.
Yes, huh?
Black
Why do you
people
think we
always
went
had-
crazy when they would do a violation against us?
What violation? What violation have a black?
Alleged
have
rape,
done?
alleged murder, alleged theft, all that stuff.
Okay, so for 400 years we've been raped, murdered, hung, castrated, all
Lord have mercy. Yeah. Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead, Mark.
I just wanted to say the difference here between black and white is obvious. In the 1700s, when whites were being discriminated against by the Brits, they didn't have sit-ins and march-ins and pee-ins. What they did was they got on boats and they came to the U.S. and created the greatest country in the history of the world. They didn't sit around and complain about white people discriminating against them. And the real problem with race was when we ended slavery. The black crime rate exploded after slavery ended.
Wow.
And after segregation ended. You talk about the lynchings and you talk about the castrations. There were reasons for those crimes. There were reasons for those activities.
We just innately violent people that don't have it together. Y'all haven't done nothing. Or y'all haven't done
No, we've done
nothing
some stuff.
Good old white people, good white people, and we just been messed up people from the start. We didn't have no where we at is all because of us.
I think you guys are worse today than before.
Oh yeah,
look, man, y'all are crazy. Y'all
I know that whites are worse today than before. Everybody's worse today than before, but blacks are worse today than before.
Yeah, the black people of slavery, of old slavery, in the slavery days, I should say, had a higher standard of living than the average Negro in Africa today. Okay,
and
the average slave lived better
so we should be
than the
with your
average
crime.
black man in Africa today.
So your point is, oh, we live better than Africa, so you should be happy with the crumbs we get
No,
today.
I said the black people. No, the black people.
Be thankful for your crumbs. Oh, he hung up. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I think he got the point.
Yeah.
Anyway, the real reason I called, I didn't mind talking to him though, but the real reason I called, I didn't mean to abruptly hang up yesterday. I had a plumber here. And
Oh, no worries. Go. Yeah, fine. It's fine.
Yeah, but one of the things I wanted to say, listening to him, was that when the Civil Rights Bill failed to produce jobs and equality for the blacks, and what it did was the Civil Rights Bill made it so you couldn't openly discriminate against blacks in jobs. However, even when they had the opportunity, they couldn't make the grade. They couldn't pass the test. So along comes affirmative action.
Right. I heard you say that before. Sorry.
Yeah, well, you got to put the pieces together.
Right.
The Civil Rights Bill, first of all, was unconstitutional.
Yeah.
You have a right to hire who you want.
Yep.
And you have a right to sell your house to whoever you want. The government has no call to intercede. And one of the arguments that I've heard from these people on affirmative action, well, what if you have a black-dominated city and no blacks could pass the test to be policemen? So you virtually have all-white police department in an all-black city.
Right.
So that would be their response to opposing affirmative action. And my retort would be, that's the way it goes.
And the whites are better police anyway, per capita, seemingly.
That's right. In Memphis, Tennessee, where they used affirmative action to hire so many black cops, did you see how they beat that guy about 6 months ago? I think they killed him. But we haven't heard a thing on that in 6 months.
Wow.
Those black cops that beat up a black guy.
That's right. That was which city was that? Nashville?
I think it was Memphis. Or maybe Nashville. Somewhere in Tennessee. But Memphis is a real bad place.
Yeah.
Memphis, Tennessee is just a crime-ridden.
A black female police
place.
chief over there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, exactly. And she hires blacks. Basically, she bends over backwards to hire unqualified blacks.
That's what I've heard. I've heard that from other sources. My sources, if you don't mind me being kind of like my co-host, the Snake, according to my sources, a black gets in charge and starts going all for black, nepotism for the blacks.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've seen it in my own life. I've seen that happen.
Yeah.
It's revenge. It's all motivated by revenge.
Indeed.
This whole idea of reparations is motivated by two things: greed and thievery.
Yeah.
It
That's
has nothing to do with race.
right.
Nothing at all. And as time goes on and things get worse, we're going to see more discrimination and more violence against whites. But the DeAngelo guy, he didn't answer the question about why do blacks go where they're not wanted.
Yeah. Well, he started it. I think what he said was, we want to get the same opportunities or something like that, or we're shut out of great opportunities. But I don't think he's brainwashed in the anti-Booker T. Washington mode of the mode that Booker T. Washington had was make yourself valuable, make your own value, build yourself up and build your own community up.
And that was the same with the Nation of Islam.
Yeah.
They didn't believe in taking welfare or mixing with whites. They thought that they wanted to make it on their own and without the help of white people. The point is, they can't make it without us. And it drives them crazy. It drives them crazy to see us.
I don't think that's really, that's not the whole thing, because like what JLP says about their anger, they're fed anger. And when you're angry, you're blind, you're jealous, you're envious, you're fearful, you're easily swallowing up lies. And, you know, like people talk about IQ, but anger makes you stupid. And so they're just swallowing every lie, and they can't believe the truth when you're angry.
Well, it makes them feel better about themselves.
Yeah.
You know,
and when you're when you're a sinful person, like they're fed sin, right? You are shallow. You're identifying with the wrong things, such as this shallow racial identity stuff, and you're not even believing the truth about the races.
You know what I'd like to see? Somebody come up with stats from the days of slavery till today and compare the number of whites who were attacked by blacks versus the number of blacks that were attacked by whites. And I'm going back over 150 years, and I'll bet you dollars to donuts the black attacks on whites far, far outnumber white attacks on blacks.
Yeah, there have always been evil people, even when the blacks were better per capita back then. There has always been that bitterness. Booker T. Washington always talked about it. There's people who want to keep your what is that thing? Your complaints in front of you, and emphasize those and lie about them. Honestly, exaggerate them, and that's what's happening today. We saw an example of that. We heard an example of that with DeAngelo.
Right. You know, this is a little off the subject, but not really. Do you know who authored the term Black Power?
No. I thought it was Black Panthers, but I don't know.
No, actually, it was W.E.B. DuBois.
Ah.
He was a half-breed black communist, admitted
He was
communist.
a what? He was a half what?
He was half white, half black.
Yeah.
And he was I think he was from Ghana, or he moved to Ghana.
Yeah, he did. He left
was
America.
A communist. Right,
Yep.
and he was the one who coined the term Black Power.
Yeah.
So the Black Panthers get credit for that, but it was actually W.E.B. DuBois who lived over 100 years ago.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, have you heard of him before?
Of course. He hated the blacks today side with W.E.B. DuBois, or DuBois, whatever his name is, over Booker T. Washington, because Booker T. Washington was about making it for yourself, and then also working with the white people who are willing to work with you. That's fine. But these people, he was about freedom, about being responsible and working. And those people are for being victims and complaining and making the didn't he make the NAACP with the Jews? Yeah,
I think he did have a hand in that.
Yeah.
I can't remember
Shout
the
out to
name
the
of those two Jewish guys that started. Oh, Kyvie Kaplan.
Yeah.
Kyvie Kaplan was the name of the Jew that started the NAACP.
Terrible.
And DuBois was part of that communist organization. They were founded about the same time the Second Klan came into existence, around 1915. And just for your audience's information, The reason there was a rebirth of the Klan in 1915 is because a girl by the name of Mary Fagan, Phagan, was raped and murdered, allegedly by a Negro, but it turned out that it was a Jewish pencil maker.
I've heard of that, yeah.
And I forgot his name.
That's
but,
the ADL's founded.
Right, and they're a bunch of creeps.
Yep.
They're a bunch of white haters.
Yeah.
The ADL has always been evil. They're a spy group.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I've never heard about the spy group thing, but I know that they're evil. Crazy, man.
Well, no, they spied on the Nation of Islam back in the 80s. They had informants and they were actually spying with, what do you call it? Like tape recorder devices.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were trying, they hate anybody they hate. They feel they have the right, even if it breaks the law, to go after them, much like the way they're going after Trump, even though he hadn't broken any laws.
I know, and Trump is the best friend to the Jews, but they are not a friend of the Jews. You know what I mean? Like the ADL is an enemy to the Jews, just as the NAACP and all these black groups are enemies to the blacks. They keep them in victimhood and anger and fear and hatred of the whites.
Yeah, exactly. I agree 100%. I wanted to ask you real quick, and then I'll let you go. What did you think of that Trump GOP reunion yesterday? I
haven't seen much of it other than that CNN headline that I told you about. Other than that, I don't know. I did see a little video that he cut a cake and said, I made a wish. I'm making a wish, and I have to cut this cake, and it has to do with you guys in here. He's like making them, he's cajoling them, He's making them cajole in a good way, in my opinion.
He's trying to unify the party.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you, and you may not know this, I heard a rumor that Romney was there, and McConnell gave Trump a fist bump.
Oh, really?
McConnell fist bumped Trump, and he got criticized by Liz Cheney.
Oh, no, I think you're thinking of, well, maybe. That may or may not have happened. I don't know. I do know that Liz Cheney criticized Mitch McConnell for taking a picture handshaking or something with Trump.
Yeah, fist bump, yeah. But I'm wondering if Romney really was there.
No, I think it was Mitch, not Mitt, is my guess. Mitch.
Yeah, well, no, Mitt
McConnell
didn't shake his hand or anything, but the fact that he would even be there surprises me. And the question is, do we want these RINOs?
Oh, yeah. I mean
they're going to piss off to Trump now, but what will happen if he gets in? Are they going to turn on him again?
Yeah, of course they will. Of course they will. But, you have to work with people. You have to, kind of force them to work with you a little bit. Of course, you can't trust them. Of course, they're going to undermine him best as much as they can. But also, he may I don't know. He may make them function a little bit.
Well, have you ever heard of John Thune from South Dakota? He's a RINO. He was there yesterday.
Yeah. I have heard that name before.
Yeah, he was standing there. I was watching the whole thing. He was standing there in the back of the crowd with his head down. You could just tell by
Mitt Romney, according to ABC News, to interrupt you briefly, according to ABC News, Mitt Romney did not make it because he was going to catch a flight, but he said his flight had been canceled. Flight to Florida had been canceled. Therefore, he would... I don't know.
He's a liar.
Yeah.
He's the biggest snake of them all. But fortunately, he's only going to be in there until November, and I think the guy's name is Staggs. The true...
Oh, he did go to the meeting. He was going to go to Florida, but it got canceled because of the Florida floods and all that stuff. So he attended the event, I guess, or he said he would or something. But yeah, he is totally a RINO, and all these people are phonies.
No, but so I get this understood. You're saying Romney was present?
It sounds like he was. It was a closed door thing, was it? I don't know.
Well, they had a big picture of everybody.
It honestly
there,
doesn't even matter to me because it's nice that he kind of forced them to meet with him and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't care about them. I don't trust them either.
I don't think any of those RINOs, hopefully, are ever going to win re-election. And I'll let you go with this. The one thing I didn't like was Trump endorsed that Larry Hogan from Maryland. He's another Romney, man. He's a demon, and Trump endorsed him like he did Romney. He made a mistake in the name of unity. He may be picking a RINO.
That's that Hogan's fat guy who's married to an Asian woman, Larry Hogan, I think. Yeah,
what
he was
else
another
could he
Trump
get?
guy, or a Trump hater type of a guy, if I remember right, or something
Oh, yeah,
bad about him.
Just a couple weeks ago when they found Trump guilty, he said we should all accept that.
Yeah.
We should just accept that. So he's a scumbag.
I got to
hope he
run.
loses.
Mark, I appreciate
Thank
you,
you,
man.
sir.
Thank you for
God
the
bless
tips.
you.
All right. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Frederick in Los Angeles on the line here. Rika, how you doing, man? What's up?
What's going on? You never let me talk to Mark, man. You put Mark on with everybody. I'm mad about that.
Oh,
but
I
it's okay.
didn't.
ain't
I didn't
mad.
even know that, but I had
cool.
Mark on for 20 minutes, man.
Yeah, you
It's not
never
like
heard
he's
the
my.
call. I'm like,
It's
what
it's
are you
not like
doing?
he's my co-host.
I know, but I like to ask Mark some questions too.
Too
But
bad.
it's all
Next
good.
time.
It's
I didn't
all
notice. I did not notice if that's what you were.
happens If you have a business and it's doing poor business, who do you blame?
It goes down from the top.
Management, exactly. Who is managing these blacks from when they came over here to today?
Their mothers.
No.
Who?
They get snatched out of their mother's arm and sold on the damn slave block.
Whoa.
Tell the truth. Quit
Whoa,
lying.
whoa. Don't cuss.
I didn't cuss. I said slave block.
You know, you said D word. Dang, slave block.
They get sold on the slave block.
That is
I
the
ain't-
original cuss. Cuss means curse, right? And damn means send it to hell, which is a curse. So you did curse.
Okay, I didn't mean to cuss.
I know you didn't
Whatever.
mean to. I'm just making a point. Go ahead.
But the truth is, you know what I'm saying? God's plan is coming to fruition.
Fruition.
So you just got to keep
Fruition.
your eyes open. Yeah,
Fruition.
fruition.
No, it's not fruitation, man. Why are you going to
all
insist
about
on
the
that?
pronunciation.
You're like Joel Friday. No, it says Arkansas.
That's right.
Anyway,
Listen,
who's managing
Why
the
is he
blacks?
so
The
mad?
slave owners?
why is he so mad?
Wait, what
Mark?
did you say about the slave owners?
Management.
Who's managing the blacks?
If your business is not doing good, it's management's fault.
And so
right?
the blacks are not doing good. It's the whites' fault because the whites managing them.
They the ones set up all the laws and the programs. We have blacks been in charge of their own country, like or city or Congress or Senate or majority all black. When have they been empowered to manage the country?
I'll tell you one thing. You know those.
No, I'm asking you a question.
I'll tell you I know for sure in the 80s the blacks.
They never.
The 80s.
The blacks
The
was not
80s
in
and
charge.
90s.
We got some loving white people. White guilt.
No. Hold on. Let me give you this perfect example of to debunk your fake news narrative.
Is it white guilt or is it black people in power?
It's black people in power.
That's it.
The black so-called leaders called for stricter laws against all of this crime because blacks were victims of the black violent crime. So they wanted tough on crime policies. And so they got tough on crime policies. And then they were still not happy because the blacks were disproportionately put in jail. Boom. Boom.
Black leaders, what were they in lead of?
Boom. In your face.
No, you said black leaders that led nothing if the people wasn't happy. Maybe they were just spokespersons and token takers. You get these black people up there saying one
Yeah, the
thing
type
and
of
they
people
just
you
get the
listen
money
to.
and run. Yeah, they just get the money and run, and then the people they don't represent. When have black people been represented by Democrats or Republicans?
Never. Because black people represent themselves poorly.
I watched this one thing. I said I ain't gonna say.
But and so you're not
anyway.
going to admit that the black mothers are the managers of the black homes?
No, it's the black fathers.
No, the black fathers are not in the homes.
Well, they can be if they want to be. It's their choice.
Not necessarily.
I mean, my
They
kids
cannot necessarily be in the homes. You know, you
they
well
can.
know that black fathers are not necessarily able to be in the homes.
I don't know about that. They calling for black men over in Japan, 75,000. Black men are loved, and black men are going to be in their homes for sure.
Whoa.
Japan offering black men 75,000 come have babies with Japan women, Japanese women. But another story.
That's
anyway, we ain't
a
talking about
vulgar
that. We
comment.
talking about
You remind me of that dirty old man. Sorry, Steven.
Dirty old man. How
Steven
am I
from Maryland.
Don't do that.
Steven
Don't
from
do
Maryland. You're talking about this dirty
Don't do that.
sexual stuff. I'm not calling
that's
you
real
dirty old man. I'm
population
saying you
control.
remind me of that dirty old man who calls my show and says something dirty every time he calls my show. And he's black.
Last time I taught you about the word seraphic, I ain't say nothing dirty. Don't be putting labels on me, and I ain't never.
I know, but you
about
just
nothing
said
dirty.
something about the black men getting with the Japanese women.
Japan's paying $75,000 for black men. I'm putting out like any black man that wants to go to Japan, they paying $75,000
I feel like hanging up on
for a
you.
baby.
That sounds so wrong.
That's not wrong. They don't have enough men over there. Japanese men. China's going to do the same thing. We got allies coming. You think like the white people that's here today that's running things, they like every time you try to say you're white or identifying with white, you're going to lose the battle against other white people, not black people. Other white people put y'all where y'all can't say the N-word at work. The white people are in charge that's on our side, and y'all got to get with the program. It ain't Mark mad at us. He's mad at white people that's with us, that knows right from wrong. Y'all are a small minority, and y'all need to get with the program. It ain't like y'all are oppressed and anti-white. It's white people giving y'all anti-white.
And you think that's and you think
WNBA
do you
is
think
affirmative action?
do you think
on affirmative action shirt? The NBA,
Hey.
all them black men pay for the WNBA 50%.
I know.
And there are 12 teams on the other 50%.
All right,
You're
Maze.
still buying
Maze.
more black excellence.
Maze. You're jumping topics.
I'm not Maze.
I know, but you're jumping topics like Maze.
No, I'm just, I did jump to your shirt because I was talking about your cake and your hero.
See now,
you know what
see,
that's going to do for her?
there's a little bit of
That's
honesty
UTI.
in Rika. Is it R-I? How do you spell Rika? R-I-C-K-A or R-I-C-A? Out of curiosity.
RICKA.
Okay, because it's Frederick
Yeah.
with the C-K. Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was gonna say now. Oh,
I jumped around.
right. What
wanna
did
go
you
back?
say right before the shirt, affirmative action shirt? I agree with you about it. It's an affirmative action
The
shirt.
NBA pays for the WNBA.
No, before that.
Before that.
You made a point before that I wanted to address. Oh, you said that there are whites who are on the side of the blacks, and they are anti-white, and they know right from wrong. You think anti-white is right?
No, that's what you call it. They just call right and wrong. It's
Okay,
right
so
and
what
wrong.
I call anti-white, and you can call it what you want. What do you call anti-white?
When I call anti-white, there's no such thing.
No, but when I call, let's say, whites, and there's a backlash from whites against whites when whites say the N-word. And I call that anti-white.
The N-word's wrong. It's just right and wrong.
No, the N-word's not wrong. Okay, okay, so I call that anti-white for a white to backlash against a white for saying the N-word, okay? And I call that white, and you say that's a white knowing right from wrong?
Yeah.
See, you're crazy.
No, it is.
Yeah,
like, if another white corrects somebody, you're supposed to correct somebody with perfect peace. That's what Jesse teaches you.
And you
Like,
think that the
don't
whites,
just-
you think
just
the
let them
whites,
talk, correct them.
okay. No, okay. Let's stop there. You said you're supposed to have perfect peace and correct people with perfect peace. You think that the whites who are attacking the whites who say the N-word, they're attacking the whites who say the N-word with perfect peace and correcting them?
Yeah.
That's crazy talk.
Do you think when they go, it's all about how your conscience feel afterwards. If you stand up and do the right thing, you're going to be so at perfect peace that you did the right thing. Your conscience going to feel at ease. And the person that said is going to be so paranoid and living in fear, like she's going to go get some black people and come check me again. Oh, my God. Where is the conscience? Where is the
That's
peace?
not her conscience bothering her. That's her practical fear for her life and her health.
She's correcting her, and then she's
That's
gonna
not
be like,
conscience, man. Fear of black retribution is not conscience.
No, it's two white people. Why is that when fearing and there's no black people around? You said it's two
Fear,
white people
okay,
talking.
fear of white retribution has nothing to do with right and wrong conscience.
It's right and wrong. You do something bad, you're gonna feel fear.
If you're
Period.
afraid of your
Right.
fellow man, that has nothing to do with your conscience. Now, I can agree with you that hold on, Frederick. I can agree with you that saying the N-word and nowadays we all know that blacks are so insane and some of the whites are so insane too that they will fire you, they'll come for you if you say the N-word and you use your freedom of speech. And so you should be wiser than to say it And you kind of brought that on yourself if you do say it and get yourself in trouble and you're not able to deal with that trouble. That's kind of your fault for being foolish. But that has nothing to do with conscience. That's the evil. There's no perfect peace in attacking somebody for their freedom of speech. That's evil.
Let me change your perspective. Look at it like this. You got this word right now and it's bothering you and it's all messed up in America. What's going to happen 300 years from now when you're all isolated to maybe a 3-state area and y'all can say it so happily because y'all can't change nothing around y'all. Y'all have no power. And we just let y'all say it because y'all be like, these N-words done got us like this. We laughing at y'all because we making the laws and y'all can say it freely and we don't react. Is that what you want?
I'm getting my snake puppet out because you, just like Evil Joe from Phoenix, are living in an imaginary future. Hake,
I'm asking you an alternative.
HR 350 is coming, and you're gonna, if you don't watch out, there's gonna be a terror attack in your name.
Oh my God.
Hake, in 300 years, you're gonna be stuck in a little white enclave because the blacks are running the show.
But
what is your name, Kentucky John?
To be able to say it with no repercussion. What if you did what you asked for? You ever read that book, The Monkey's Paw?
I don't read.
Yeah. All right. Have a good day, Hake.
You too. All right. Bye, Rika. What a mess. What a clown, honestly. Isn't he a clown? He talked about somebody being a court jester. I heard him say court jester on the American Anchor Baby show. His whole tone of voice is clownish. And his way of speaking and thinking is clownish. Frederick. Rika. Frederica. Anyway, he calls himself that. You know that? We are past the top of the hour, guys, okay? The Fallen State is going to happen. It's going to be a 2016 interview from the radio show with Jordan B. Peterson. Check that out. I want to get to Daniel in Texas on the line here. Daniel in Texas, thanks for calling and holding. What's up?
Hi, James. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course.
Do I have to be quick because you're taking a break?
No, I'm not. Do your thing, but let's try to keep it quick. But yeah, let's do it.
Okay. As for the Japanese are under no illusions as to why anybody outside of their country or race is interested in their country, and they defend it jealously. So don't go thinking that you're just going to go over there and do whatever you want with whoever you want and run all over their culture, because it's not going to happen.
There's a little bit of that happening, though. Even though they're better at it at this point, I guess, than at protecting their country and their culture. Wasn't there a Japanese, or am I confusing it with somebody else, Ukrainian woman who became Miss Japan? So there's a little bit of that happening. You know what I'm talking about? Was it Miss Japan?
Yeah, but that Miss Japan thing would, I guess that would kind of be a Western thing. And they do adopt a lot of Western stuff.
Right. So every country is getting this attack on them, their values. They're getting attacked with this global homo stuff, but it's affecting the white countries the most by far. You're right. And the Japanese are a little bit more sensible, I think, on the whole.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, the Japanese have historically, consistently, forcibly expelled influences from their country in the past.
Nice.
Obviously hasn't happened recently because World War II. But
yeah, they can't even have a standing military, can they?
No.
Because they invaded China and allegedly, according to history, which, can you believe it? But it's probably some truth to it. Raped a bunch of Chinese women and stuff like that. And maybe did some horrible things.
Everybody when they lose. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. That's why you never want to lose, because it makes you a rapist, no matter what.
It turns. Oh, really? Interesting.
Well, people can just say whatever they want about you.
Oh, yeah. Good point. Very good point. That's what. Yeah, that's true. That's what happened. They piled onto the Germans, didn't they?
Yeah.
And then they got fact checked a little bit, so there was some fact checking, but not I don't know. Anyway, what a mess. Interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But you've talked about chess before. You've talked about 4D chess. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
just wanted, did you play chess? Did you?
As a kid, I
learn
liked
chess?
it. In 4th grade, I had a male teacher, a man teacher, for once, right? And we learned chess. And there were some Chinese people who spoke Chinese who came in, and like some Mexicans who spoke Mexican. But there was this Chinese guy who didn't speak English, and then he learned English in 4th grade. And he was really good at chess, and a lot of the Asians were good at chess, and I liked playing chess, and I was okay at it. And so, yeah, I got kind of into chess as a 9-year-old and a little bit older, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is very important because it kind of is a shorthand explanation of how the world works. And
Yeah.
all the most powerful pieces are woman, house, and home, or woman, house, and church.
Whoa.
Right. So the king moves in all directions, but it's in a slow fashion.
Yeah.
And the queen has the most power. She has the most moves. The church moves in between as kind of like a spiritual. It moves diagonally.
Huh.
The rook moves like layered bricks. The knight moves over people and slashes to the side because he's on the horse.
Interesting.
The pawns attack only from the sides because they have shields. And the initial move of the pawn is out of exuberance, and then because you can move them 2 spaces initially.
Right.
But then after that, it's only 1 space, and that has to do with exuberance and the fleeting exuberance.
Yeah.
So
I don't
it's kind
play
of a
to this day, but I did play as a kid, and I liked it. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Go ahead.
So it's just a shorthand, view of what life is.
Yeah.
What are the most powerful things in life? So I just wanted to touch on that.
Wow. That's cool, man. Thank you for the little lesson on chess. That's cool.
Yeah, man, Mark is on fire. Bro.
Yeah. He knows his stuff.
Yeah, Mark.
He's pretty clear-minded
Mark
on
is
this
something else,
on this race issue, at least in terms of interpreting what went down in history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. When you hear something like that, it's great, but don't expect a lot of people to be like that.
Right.
Most whites are not like that at all. And if you
Outspoken, clear to the point.
right,
You mean?
and if you go around in your day to day expecting that, it's going to cause problems for you.
True. Definitely. Yeah, you don't want to act like that. You don't want to speak that kind of truth in the public necessarily.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
And you don't want to expect people to respond in the same way that Mark would respond.
True.
Because most people, even in their heart of hearts, they aren't tuned in like that.
Yeah. Right.
And that's a mistake that I've made many times.
Oh yeah. So you've
thinking people are on the same page.
Right.
They're not.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you've mentioned that before. I think with when you told, actually your conversation with Mark about fussing about stuff, and thinking
people
that white,
betray you.
yeah, siding with white when this white was going to turn around and backstab you. You want to side with what's right and be you want to be for what's right and not really take sides and not trust anybody, including fellow whites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his question, why do you go where you're not wanted, is a very poignant question.
Oh, yes.
I know when I'm not wanted.
Right.
And I leave. If I'm in a situation where I can't overcome being unwanted, I don't show my face again.
Right. Good point. Yeah, and that is a lesson that we all should learn. Men should learn with women, women with men. Stalkers should learn that. That's one thing that stalkers really need to learn. And whites and blacks should learn that. And don't expect people to like you. They don't have to like you. They can hate you. And you don't fight hate by clamping down on hate. That's a mama spirit thing. And let people hate you. You don't hate them. It doesn't matter if they hate you. You love them and leave them be. And that's what loving is often, most of the time, probably.
Yeah.
Nice, man.
But those conversations are it's fine, like, I guess, here in this sphere.
Right.
But in your day-to-day,
oh, no.
it's too risky.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
too risky.
True.
Yeah.
Cool,
Okay.
man. Great call. Appreciate you, Daniel, in Texas.
Sure. Bye.
Bye. Wow. Okay, I'm going to try to get to all of you guys. I know that there are super chats to get to as well. Gunner in Chicago on the line here. What's up, Gunner?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Doing well. How about you?
I'm all right.
Cool.
I was pretty, I was having a laugh at that first caller that had called.
DeANGELO, that's right.
Yeah, he had brought up some things where, he's in a slave mentality.
Yeah.
Where, it's just, he keeps
Victimhood.
thinking that, minorities are not able to do something of themselves.
Right.
And I like Frederick. I like Frederick because, he gives me shout outs too. But I know
Nice.
he's passionate about a lot of things. And Mark, Mark could talk for like 30 minutes nonstop. Shout out Mark though.
Yeah, he knows his stuff. He knows his history.
Yeah. I don't know if I have empathy or sympathy for these people that don't know that, hey, a lot of these cities are controlled by minorities.
Right.
I'm going to give you the example of Chicago. So any of my Chicago people that are on the chat, you will know this. Even it's run by a black mayor. The superintendent is a black man for the police department. And crime's through the roof.
Yeah.
The whole cabinet of what's his name? Brandon Johnson, they're all women and minorities.
Really?
So, yeah, you'd be surprised. And a lot of the city workers, the ones who do run the city for the good of the city, are minorities.
Yeah.
And they're protected by a union. So whatever they do, they're not going to lose their job. And that's what's going on in Chicago.
Yeah.
Is they have these youth that are unsupervised that are gathering in downtown, terrorizing people. I'm sure Jesse covered this topic where that woman lost her baby because she was beat up by a group of teenagers, her and her husband.
Yeah, I think he did cover that. I think. Yep.
Aldermen or the city officials wanted to propose mandatory curfew for 8 o'clock. Brandon Johnson came out and said, oh, hey, it's going to be difficult to implement, yada, yada, yada. We don't know if people that are going to be accompanied by 18-year-old friends are going to allow, is that going to be count as as a guardian or somebody that they're being accompanied by an adult?
Yeah.
So that sort of thing, that mess is going on in Chicago almost every weekend. Every weekend they gather, they do a mess, they go to the beach. Once they close the beach at 11 o'clock, they just shoot them out to downtown. Unsupervised, they don't have no parents, and they're just wreaking havoc on the citizens or residents of those areas.
It's sort of funny that they want to go back to a sundown town. Makes you wonder about what we were told about sundown towns, It's crazy. Maybe they had a point.
That's crazy. And they're coming from like the south side of Chicago, west side of Chicago. They'll jump on the trains and head to downtown over here, and it's just like it's I don't want to say anything that's gonna make it seem like I'm against other people because I'm a minority myself. I'm Mexican, so it's uncomfortable to be in those sort of areas and knowing what could happen.
Right.
Every other sidewalk has a bum smelling like urine.
Yeah.
Setting up camp, not wanting to move, making businesses look bad because they can't do much about it.
Yeah, businesses.
Chicago
people don't want to
is
go into
run
those
by
businesses.
Yeah, of course not. No, I wouldn't want to go like, hey man, you got a weirdo out there. I'm not gonna go in there.
Right.
Panhandling and all that.
Yeah.
Listen, I understand. Let's not play victim. Chicago is run by minorities.
Right.
It's run by a black mayor, and it's a freaking mess.
Yeah.
I like it here because there's people that look past it, but then there's those that just have that mentality where it's just like, oh no, we got to keep voting Democrat. We cannot allow a Republican to take control. There was going to be there was a candidate that was running against Brandon Johnson last year. His name was Paul Vallis. I'm sure you heard of him. He was going to start tackling on crime. He ran on that policy.
Yeah.
But the Democrats, somebody pushed him towards, he's affiliated with MAGA, and that kind of hurt his chances. But he really was, he was a front runner. He was going to be one that was going to clean up Chicago. Brandon Johnson pushed on, he's a former CTU employee, Chicago Teachers Union.
Oh wow.
He was, I don't know if he was a teacher. So he understands us, he's a really young guy, so I'm surprised he did get the Turner. I do like what some points that were some of the callers were bringing up, which is Nation of Islam. They own a certain block in Chicago. I want to say not own, but they own the majority of the businesses.
Yeah.
And all businesses are affiliated with them. And they do push towards, becoming a better citizen, whether I think they're starting to allow Latinos in there into their congregation.
Oh wow,
what they call it.
That's funny.
So, but you know what they teach? They teach to better yourself and not obviously not look for a handout. And
a lot of the Israelites are that way too. The Israelites are for living. You laugh, but it's true. The Nation of Islam
crazy,
people.
Man.
Right, they are. A lot of them are crazy, but a lot of them are because some of them flew us out for a debate. JLP debated one of them in Vegas, and they were hospitable. Yeah. They were sensible. They had nice homes, families. Some of them were dressed up in the funny guard. Yeah, and they were. We had barbecue with them, and it was cool. So there's some. That religion, even if like it's a false religion kind of forces you to be a little bit more sensible. It makes your life, your physical life function a little bit better. Even if in the heart you're still angry and bitter and have no peace, at least your outer environment is a little bit more functional. You have the father and mother married. You follow a little bit of the rules, God's rules that were given to us to make our lives better. Of course. I think that a lot of that religion stuff is, even if they're false religions, they make you functional better. So
I agree.
I wouldn't disagree about Nation of Islam people keeping that block better.
No, but they're really, like you said, they're well to do. They have houses. They know what they're doing. But hey, you got to be detoxed. You can't do drugs. You can't drink.
Yeah.
And you got to be well groomed. You got to be well spoken mannered. I have talked to some African Americans from here in Chicago, and that are older, in the 50s and 60s, and I try to hit them with the why are some areas not, why are some areas really bad, and they do hit back with the there's not a functional household where there's a father and a mother that
right
are able to raise these people and raise these kids to become obedient to the law or to become civil and I was a victim and I played a victim mentality. I was like, hey man, I'm a minority, I know my rights, and I was like, when I started realizing, hey man, there's something wrong with me and not the system. If I can't get a job, if I can't land an opportunity for myself, it's because it will be because of my criminal record, my references, that sort of thing. What type of how can I become marketable to a job? How can I help an organization to make more money for my own for my own gain as well?
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying?
But the excuses will never end for these people because they'll say, "Oh, I was put in this world. I was put in this situation where all I could do was crime," and the government encouraged the mothers to be out of the home. That type of excuse. There's never-ending excuses for people who make excuses. But you're right.
That's how it was because I worked in some of these government sectors and. it was sort of that mentality where it's all minority.
Yeah.
Great, we're all gonna keep voting Democrat. I never brought it up. Hey, I'm a Republican. I think that would have
Nice.
been a death sentence.
Smart man.
And yeah, man. It's sometimes like better not to talk about it, especially in that type of environment.
For
but,
sure.
You cannot escape it.
Yeah.
And what has happened was that Illinois is one of the most corrupt states. I want to say it's the most corrupt state in politicians. The most ones that have been incarcerated. Shout out Blagojevich, Blago. He got pardoned by Trump.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Shout out to him. I think he was one of the last Democrats that were really. He got caught up in the system. That's all I gotta say. I think he was. Illinois was better under him.
That's funny.
They misused pension funds to build certain things in Chicago.
Okay.
There was a recent article in the Sun-Times or the Tribune, Chicago's Sun-Times, where they were saying that Chicago only has like 3 or 4 more years to fulfill these pensions. They might go bankrupt like Detroit has. I wouldn't doubt it if that sort of thing happens in Chicago, but I don't think so, because once it goes bankrupt, I mean, they're gonna have to show what they've been using those funds for, misusing or using them for.
Huh.
Everything will be out in the open.
That's crazy.
And then all city workers will know, hey, man, my pension has been
pensions are out.
Misused.
I've heard of pensions going out of control here in California. Like, pensions are probably not funded, even though we have like this big budget supposedly in California. The teachers' pensions, the police pensions, the fire pensions, they get generous pensions, and it is. I think it's out of control.
Where it's a prevailing wage that these union workers make. They make amounts of money for little work.
Wow.
I've seen them. I've noticed how people make $80 an hour just to sit down. Or and I'm sure they're good people, but that's the truth behind it.
I know, but I mean, it's nothing like the private sector world or the normal world. They're just getting.
Well, that's not any better because they have to do DEI.
True. Yeah, I know.
So
that's a great
not
point.
Any better, so.
That's true.
Yeah. So
commie capitalism.
What the private sector does is, sometimes they have employees at will, so they'll fire you, without any repercussions from them on their end. They can't, they can't be sued.
I was talking more. I was talking more about smaller businesses. I wasn't thinking about these big corporations that are really just entrenched. I was thinking more about like nonprofit organizations and people who run their own businesses that aren't infected with all this DEI and affirmative action and liberal pandering stuff. People just you're paid you're paid basically for the value that you bring to the company in like a more local sense. So, but they're not necessarily bringing value.
There's another thing I wanted to bring up was how in there's a Mexican neighborhood out here in Chicago. It's called Little Village. And in a lot of these neighborhoods, they'll sell like how do you say it, like corn snacks and fruits and corn. You Elote, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yes. Right.
So a lot of these vendors were getting robbed at 8 in the morning, 6 in the morning. And a lot of those vendors had expressed worry to the aldermen. And the aldermen they're like little mayors. I don't know if you guys have them in California.
Yeah, it's kind of like a city council, sort of. Okay, so it's kind of like a city councilman, but he's like a local mayor of a little neighborhood area within Chicago. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And so they voiced their opinions, and his solution was don't carry cash. Start using Cash App and Zelle and PayPal, and because they were requesting for more police to start patrolling those areas, but that sort of thing is not. I don't think they have enough funds, or I don't know what the alderman of Little Village had said, but he was not gonna have patrolmen.
Wow.
Go more around that area. He was just advising them to go cashless. They
Wow.
were constantly getting robbed at gunpoint by African Americans and other minorities.
Of course, yeah.
Mexicans, I think. Yeah.
That's wild, man. And I mean, that's sort of a practical solution if like there's nothing else, but that's not a whole solution. That's like it's kind of like what we heard about with I heard in Canada, there are so many like they home invade the home, robbers do, in order to steal the car keys, in order to steal the cars, in order to ship the cars overseas and make money. Okay, and so what the advice was
What are the Pajits?
I don't know who it was. It might have been.
Okay.
But what the advice was from the powers that be, leave your car keys near the front door, away from your bedroom, so you're less likely to get into a confrontation, an altercation with the thieves, so that they let them steal your stuff. Isn't that wild?
Well, Canadians are gullible. I know Canadians are gullible in this sense. But I heard they were now, like a decade ago, they didn't lock their doors in their house.
Wow.
You know, I don't know, that sort of thing. There was I had a run-in one time with a Hebrew Israelite, and it was just the most either awkward as I was with my fiance, and it was like, I think this happened this year. He just came out to me, "You're a god, you know that? You're a god." You know
Oh yeah, because you're an Israelite. You are you are one of the tribes of Israel because you're Hispanic, Latino.
Yeah. He's like, "You're a god. You know the black man is God." And I was just like, "Whoa, dude!" Like, I was like, "I know who you guys are." You
Right.
know, I wasn't gonna start like, "You ever heard of Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson?"
Nice.
yeah, but that was for me. That was a kind of a uncomfortable.
For sure, man.
You know, situation. All right, man.
It's
Thank
great
you.
talking to you, man.
Thank you for taking my call.
All right.
All right. Have a good one. Have a
You
good
too.
weekend.
You too. Yes, Gunner from Chicago. Chi-Town. I used to call it Shit-Town because it's Chicago, right? But that makes it sound kind of bad. Is it Chi-Town? Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Let me plow through these calls, guys. Okay? Joe in Phoenix, Arizona on the line here. What's up, Joe in Phoenix?
Good morning, James.
Morning.
Thank you for taking my call.
Of course.
I want to address any of the evil and the lies that you gave a great deal of your show to today. I'll simply give you the facts.
Okay, let me get my snake puppet out. Go ahead.
Got the puppet out? Good. Okay.
Yep.
So, black home ownership and employment are at the highest rates ever.
Okay.
Okay. Violent crimes and murders are dropping. In fact, they're dropping 13% in Chicago the last year. Okay.
Cooking the books, my guess, but who knows? Go ahead.
Out of wedlock birth rates are the lowest rate in 40 years.
40 years,
There
huh?
are 40.
Okay.
The rate of black families below the poverty line are at the lowest level since I started tracking it in 1967. Okay, I told you before, 64% of black men are now in the middle class. 51% are single and childless, not making out of wedlock babies. So there's been a great deal of progress. I know you like to say that I think things are getting worse, but the facts are clear. Things are getting better.
Those aren't necessarily indications of things being better.
All things I just mentioned are very clear evidence and easily verify that things are getting better and bode well for the future. There's more black people in college now than have ever been at this point in the country.
Is college as valuable as it once was?
Depends on what you study. If you're in STEM or finance, yes.
Right. So a whole lot of people being in college doesn't mean a whole lot of people in STEM and finance. It means they could be wasting their money going into debt, and then Sleepy Joe Biden pretending like he's going to forgive them.
It could be.
Having low out of wedlock births is also not a win if we're having negative population growth within the Black American and white American people. That just means that we're not making babies. Everybody's on pornography and homosexuality. and selfishness and barrenness because the women wait too long, you know? So these things are not necessarily better. That's my point. Being rich, we are more rich.
Right now.
Hold on, Hake. Let me just make one quick point. We are more rich today, and we are also more immoral today and spoiled today than ever. So that includes the blacks. They're in the middle class or doing well financially for themselves, but they're still immoral. So things are not getting better. Things are just getting more spoiled.
You don't see middle-class people committing crimes, especially violent crimes. You go to any prison across this country, you see the same thing.
I know, but crime is not the only evil. Crime is not the only evil. There's still hatred of whites. There's still hatred between men and women. There's still selfishness, LGBT stuff, drugs, all kinds of mess. And you're saying stuff that I don't really want. Where are you getting all this stuff from? If you can say quickly, because I don't even necessarily trust any of the stats that you say. 13% decline in Chicago. What's that because of? I know I threw a lot of questions at you, but start with that one. Mm-hmm. What caused the decline in the Chicago crime, according to you?
According to me, it's not according to me. It's according to the FBI. They're the one tracking those stats. What caused it? There's been a lot of different initiatives there in Chicago to try to, and again, it was specific to murder because overall crime is up in Chicago, unfortunately.
Okay. So a bunch of different initiatives, not actual getting into the solution, because you can address symptoms and cause crime to go up or down, but you're not really addressing the root issue, which you and I both know is the anger, the mothers running the homes, and the victimhood that has been pushed. And that victimhood is through the roof today.
Well, we have to start somewhere. And to your point about the mothers
start at
homes,
the root.
I mean, you mentioned that it's not a good thing to decline in birth rate. I say it is a good thing because, again, I told you before, the people that the Himmlers of the world focus on and want to seem like us, most black people, that's that 1.05%, and that is a direct result of the matriarchy in the poor black community. That must be dismantled.
Did you know that? Did you know that the problem is more than just the violent crime?
What do you mean?
So the afflictions of the black community and the how unrighteous they are goes far beyond just violent crime.
Okay, so the black community you're talking about is that 1.05%.
No, it's not. I just told you it's far more beyond violent crime. So you're not hearing me. What's wrong with you?
No, I'm hearing you.
No, you're not.
All the things you're talking about are from a very small percentage of black people.
No, I'm not.
The overall majority of black people are doing well and increasing and are good, decent, moral people.
No.
I don't want to believe that, but that is the case.
That is not true.
And that's why
they are not good, decent, moral people if they're voting Democrat.
They absolutely are.
They're not good, decent, moral people for the most part if they're voting Democrat. I mean, it's hard to.
I told you why black people vote Democrat.
Because they're immoral. And yes.
It's because they believe. It's because they believe Democrats have historically protected them more than the GOP has.
Which is immoral because they're immoral. They're suckers. And also they're angry, and that anger has not subsided, regardless of whether they're.
We can agree that
committing,
black people have been.
Because you keep on talking over me, you don't like the truth getting out, and you're a mess.
Talking about calling the channel black, my goodness.
You're a mess. All right, thank you, Joe. I got to run.
Yep, have a good day. Bye.
You too. Bye. A snake in the grass. Can't believe a word he says, and he doesn't have good judgment. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Leo in Texas on the line here. I want to get to at least 2 more calls or 3 before I get to the super chats and then back to the calls. Leo, thanks for calling. What's up?
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'll try to be quick, guys. I'll start with connecting to the last topic by just saying, guys, like, as a black man, I am telling you, there's no lies being told on like Mark's side and others who are talking about the moral issue that we have as a people. Yeah. I'm absolutely disgusted with our brothers, but it disgusted in a way of like, it's just like, I can't believe it sometimes. And like I'll go to the gym and I notice if I'm hooping with a lot of white men, they're very honest. They want the next guy up. They want to make sure everybody's playing. And if I go with the blacks, they're trying to bully, take over, break the rules. And it's just like, this is a small example of how we moved as a people. It's disgusting. And I'd be like, in order to actually even get a game in, I have to be a devil just to be like, hey man, you ain't gonna bully me for my spot, man. Like I was here. Like you got to be like that,
right?
Just to play basketball, and it's like you got to argue with evil.
And this stuff is not documented by the FBI, and neither probably are all the smash and grabs and mob violence and mob riots and all that stuff. This stuff is out of control. And that's not...
Yeah, you could just leave your phone in the gym. Like, you feel more... Like, let's be honest. Even blacks know.
Yeah.
If you're around a bunch of blacks, you don't feel comfortable just leaving your phone out.
Right.
You get around white folks, you be like, oh, that's Jim and Bob. They ain't going to take your stuff. They got a job.
So true. I used to leave my stuff... I left my stuff once by accident at Pasadena City College. Heavy black presence. And my sweatshirt was gone. I've told this story before. And then I could leave my backpack with my wallet in it and everything on the bench all day at Azusa Pacific University, heavy white presence and Christian, and nobody touches it. The difference in the that's what I was trying to tell DeAngelo, was the difference in the practices, the civilization, the trust, the high trust society is totally different. So anyway.
All emotional people they argue with the emotion we're telling them they need to overcome.
Yeah.
So when there's a black arguing about blacks ain't like this, your Uncle Tom, or you guys are wrong at what you're saying about the blacks, and they're using the evil to prove that they're right. And it's just like, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Hank, what I wanted to really ask you, I don't know if you caught the date that I had on Joel's show, and I wanted to know your perspective on, is the man wrong for, if the woman asks pretty much like, who are you and what you're about, and you tell her like, look, I'm not trying to accomplish the things of the world, I'm trying to accomplish inner peace. Is that too much to put on the woman? What was your thoughts on it?
Oh, that's what happened? That's what you did with the woman? I didn't hear that
I told them
but
I burnt the date, and I knew I burnt it, but I didn't want to not burn it. Like, if this is truly who I am, and, even though I'm working on some things business-wise, I got a lot of things going, but I didn't want to lead with that. This is the first time I didn't lead with how ambitious I am. I just wanted to let her know I'm ambitious on becoming a better version of myself, like morally.
I would say that's kind of like announcing to the devil what you're... announcing your intentions to the devil or to the woman is kind of ill-advised. It's kind of like saying, I know you didn't do this, but you said, it's kind of like saying, I don't want to have sex out of wedlock. It's like a challenge. Either she's going to ditch you or she's going to be like, okay, and make it a challenge to try to get you to have sex out of wedlock. And so it sounds like she chose the latter, meaning like you were kind of tooting your own horn. Look at me. I'm trying to be a righteous man. I'm different from these other people. Whereas you knew that she was asking you about what you do in a practical sense with job and all that stuff, and what you like to do and stuff like that. But you went with it sounds like you went with the tooting your own horn, being all spiritual and kind of full of yourself on that and showing off on that. And it blew up in your face a little bit. That's what my impression is, based on what you told me.
I like those blow-ups. I like those blow-ups because, like, when people tell me something about myself, I look at that as, like, an opportunity. Is that true? Is that something I really need to look at?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal. You didn't do... it's not a big deal. Like, you didn't sin by telling her that. But she sounds like she might have been like a normal girl, and that's not really a normal answer. So your mindset
she
is...
wasn't normal. She was a Bible-thumping girl.
Okay, but even a Bible-thumping girl doesn't mean that she's wrong in staying away from you because your mindset is a little kooky, if you will. You know, because you got this idea about, hey, I'm going to come at her like this. Because even Bible thumpers, even nutty people like Frederica, he's kind of kooky, right? but he can give you good feedback on you.
Yeah.
So
I like those people.
Yeah.
Because the devil is really smart, man.
So I think you were silly. You're kind of a little crazy. You're going into your head with that. That's my impression.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. That's it, man. That's all I had. I just wanted your thoughts on that.
Right on, man. Thank you for the question. Pretty interesting. I like these topics,
your
honestly.
Your show is, like Jesse said, your show is so interesting. I just don't understand that. I love it. Keep it up.
I know. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Take
Later.
care. Bye. Oh, my goodness. I got to get to Jaime in Minnesota. He's on the line here. Jaime, thank you for calling and holding so long. How are you doing?
Hey, how's it going, Hake?
Going well. How about you?
That's good. Pretty good. Hey, I've been listening to a lot of interviews with single black women, single black mothers.
Okay.
And some of these black women, they're just single, not mothers.
Okay.
But they're very emotional and such, and they expect more than what they deserve.
Yeah. Yeah. And because they've been spoiled. Go ahead.
Well, listening to the other callers like DeAngelo and Joe and Frederica, the black callers, they expect more than what they deserve.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They don't deserve the equality. They have to work for it.
Right.
To get it. However, they've been, what Joe says, you know, the matriarchy has taken control of the blacks, and that's their mindset now.
Yeah.
The men are women.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with the blacks. Is it's their women are in control, and not the men.
And then the men are turned into women, basically.
Yeah. So even if a black man's married to a woman, he's in a lesbian relationship.
Yeah, because he's full of ego and shallow intellectualism himself.
And they argue like a woman.
Yeah.
You know, their conversations go like a woman.
True.
And an out of control woman, because a woman can come to God and be submissive and have a conversation respectfully. Mostly white women, they're like that. Not so much anymore, but they were like that.
Yeah.
They were under control, and that's what the blacks need. They need and the blacks do need the whites.
That's true.
To control them, to be over them.
Yeah, I think there's a fair point, man. I think that's a fair position to take. I don't think they necessarily... Yeah.
To be in the positions of power.
Right.
Not like any old guy is going to be over a black. It's just, you know, in control of the government.
Yeah.
The governmental issues in the local, the state, the county, the city.
Right.
Let the white man do it.
Every now and then you can get a sensible black, but it does not need to be representative of the general population in terms of the breakdown. Definitely not. That's insane.
But I want to say that this all happened when the blacks got their right to vote. They allowed the black men to vote. But then the white women said, hey, how come you're letting the blacks vote and you won't even let us vote? We're white.
Selfish, power-hungry women. Terrible.
Yeah. And so it was our white women that was the Pandora's box.
Uh-huh.
Shouldn't have even opened it. Somebody should have given them the Sean Connery treatment.
True.
And
Yeah.
said, quiet down.
Indeed. I'm with you, man.
I do believe that the black man is worthy of a vote. Most definitely.
Yeah.
If they own land, especially.
Yep.
But not the woman. The woman, they don't think, unless they've come to the man, if they can think like a man, then that's different.
True.
But they shouldn't vote.
Yeah. No.
But
I
that
agree.
reminds me a lot of Lot. Abraham's nephew, Lot.
Uh-huh.
Those angels, they came and they said, hey, you got to get out of this town because we're going to blow it up. And he was like, okay. And then he took his daughters and his wife. And then his wife turned around, turned into a pillar of salt. That's the black woman.
Interesting.
And the black woman's trying to convince the black Lot, the black man.
Like Lot's wife.
Right.
Interesting.
Trying to convince the black man to look back too. And become that pillar of salt, be like her.
Yeah. Seek after the stuff that brought destruction.
That's right.
Interesting, man. I appreciate it.
I really do think that if the black man subjected himself to the whites and their theories and their thoughts on how to live life, they can overcome the woman and even bring her out of her own hell and live happily ever after.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I think that's true. Definitely.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Good rest of your week.
Thank you. You too. Jaime in Minnesota. Appreciate you, man. Bye. I got to get to the super chats, guys. We are in the final stretch, and I'm going to try to go through this quickly, succinctly. Lin Yen Chin with a couple of Streamlabs donations. Growing one new level of calm means you can operate your CNS, that's the central nervous system, LYC, Lin Yen Chin, central nervous system, in a way that puts out the same waste heat, yet allows your thoughts to flow twice as fast. That's pretty interesting, man. Calm is good. Indeed. Going beyond that will overheat the system as breath flow can't keep pace outside of short bursts, equals wavy rise and fall of IQ, much like that of blood sugar levels. Interesting. Thank you, Lin Yen Shin. Always appreciated. Over on buymeacoffee.com/The Hake Report. I like that message, Lin Yen Shin, about calm. On buymeacoffee.com/The Hake Report, Based America First bought a coffee saying, speaking of femicide, I told you this week, I believe, about femicide in Mexico. A woman mayor got killed and other women are getting killed down there. Pollsters and women are running the show down there. You do the math. Pollsters have, whatever. The cartels are running the show, but they're also putting women in charge, and it's a mess. Anyway, pollsters have begun pushing Casey DeSantis for Florida governor in 2026. Don't call him Meatball, Ron. Is a consecutive term limited, for example, serves 2 terms. Skip at least 1 term, repeat. Are there female governors who are not themselves a mess or have created mess while in office? Some of these are worse troublemakers than others. Kay Ivey in Alabama. I think it's Kay Ivey in Alabama. Hobbs. I think it's Katie Hobbs, Arizona. Sanders, Sarah Sanders in Arkansas. Reynolds, Kim Reynolds in Iowa. He's giving me the last names. You're not supposed to give last names of women. You're supposed to give first names. But anyway, Kim Reynolds. Otherwise, but I wouldn't know the last names. In Iowa, Meek Mills. No, it's not Meek Mills. Meek Mills is not a woman. Something Mills in Maine. M-E is Maine, right? I've lost track of what fingers I'm supposed to put up. Healy in Massachusetts. Whitmer in Michigan. Gretchen Whitmer, right? Grisham, Stephanie Grisham, New Mexico. Hochul, Kathy Hochul in New York. Kotek in Oregon. Noam in South Dakota. My goodness, fun game. That is too many female governesses. Fun game. Can you spot the demon rats? Hobbs stands out for her fraudulent governance. Hochul basically has to reverse every policy she enacts, and Whitmer has eliminated half of Michigan's Fortune 500 companies. Whitmer is the one with the Gretchen Whitmer, if I'm not mistaken, looks kind of like Bruce Jenner because she has that sort of, I think, plastic surgery face looking gal. Otherwise, she would be mildly attractive, you know? Oh, wow, what a mess. Thank you for the tip. Based America first. That's so out of control. Even in the beautiful South, they're electing female governesses. Ugh. Remember who was a female governess of like South Carolina? She got rid of the beautiful rebel flag, Confederate flag. That evil woman, I'm blanking on their name. Nikki Haley. Female governesses. I'm shaking my head. It's really ridiculous. And some of you guys want like Kristi Noem for president. Maybe none of you guys, but maybe some of you, because there's like Trump supporters like, oh, she should be a governor. I mean, a president. Or there's another female who lost in like Arizona, I think, right? Oh, Carrie Lake. Where's my spittoon? Because it's ridiculous. I'd rather have Mike Pence as vice president again. Anyway, back to the coffees. Boulevard bought 3 coffees. Hake, the other great white hope. Amazing. That's kind. It's going to be Palin, says Hassan, the next female vice president. The Z bought a coffee. You calm down. You calm down. He wrote in all caps. You and your master have both called me a nutcase or mentally insane. Yet to quote him, quote, when they can't win a debate, they start attacking you personally. I knew somebody would try to use that. Oh, Lord, I knew that Satan's children, and we are all brothers and sisters in Satan. We are all Satan's children. Oh my gosh, we're past time. Most of us, right? I pray for your cancellation. See, enemy, hater. And I continue to report you, especially since you messed up my Twitter account, you liar. See, false accusations. I did not even know you had a Twitter account. Forgot all about it. I'll send my next super chat July 17th. Great calls from Joe, DeAngelo, Tanner. It's okay to drink a libation. Hope that's clean. I'm sure many of your viewers will be drunk in a few hours. Do you not enjoy a beer? I really don't like you and really don't respect you because you hate me, which is not true. Unless I'm a hater of people, then I don't have love, right? If I hate anybody, then I hate everybody. You could address me over the phone, but you're a coward, and fix that weird echo. Oh, is there a weird echo? Okay. Well, thank you for your coffee. That's kind. Becca says, hi, Hake, with 7 coffees. And Popcorn's Thump Keg, I'm remiss in my duties to get to your super chat. I will have to get to your coffee another day. It's terrible, I know. But I gotta end. William in California on the line. I cannot get to you. He wanted to say, DeAngelo, you aren't history. Mark is right. Maze, my favorite caller from the sundown town of Dayton, Ohio, said, they're talking about me. I didn't know they were talking about you, Maze. You're my favorite person. Caller. Not person, necessarily. And I gotta end. We are at like a minute till. Guys, let's do JLP 28 seconds. Children, education, stress rap. I hope you enjoy this beautiful outro song. Adios, America. Catch the Fallen State next, and then American Anchor, baby. Bye.
Black Americans have forgotten that morality is greater than the intellect of the world. They think worldly knowledge is greater than spiritual knowledge. And so now they are bending over backwards to make sure that their children get the quote-unquote best education so they can get the best jobs because they are emulating white Americans. And as a result of that, they're stressing their children out. They have become what they hate.
Yep. Adios, America. Bye.